So here's our first introduction to a little bit of struct code. Notice that overall it looks the same so far, but again, there's a very big difference when it comes to visibility, is that, and again, if it's a class, it's going to be private by default, where if it's a struct, it's going to be public by default. So again, code so far looks the same, but man, there's a big shift when it comes to accessibility and really design between the two. So here's Student as a class, just to remind you of what we did here. We had our name, ID, grade, letter grade. And again, notice I didn't say private to it, but because it's just not there by default, it makes it private. Then we specify the public. Now, if you happen to look at the Student as a Struct, well, it's just basically the opposite. I went to the positioning. The positioning is important only because, again, if you don't define it, then you know it's public, and then we set the private and then go from there. So it's really interesting on how things, again, theory-wise, you really have to change your overall, not just how the code is positioned, but again, in theory, what's going to be public, what's going to be private, you still have to think about. Is it worth having everything more public in a struct than compared to a class where everything's mostly private? It's a design decision that you're going to need to make.